So today I want to talk about the important things you need to know about before you relocate to South Africa. And I will just take you through things that I have experienced and that I have interacted with personally, so I have knowledge about. The first thing is visas and permits. You need to figure out which visa or permit is applicable to you. There are many different visa types and you can find them on the VFS site. I will put the link in the description box below. The first type of visa is a critical skills visa, and this is the one that most people use to relocate to South Africa. For you to be able to get a critical skills visa, you need to get an offer letter from a company that has presence in South Africa. So a company that is in South Africa needs to have given you an offer of employment or a contract for you to be able to obtain a critical skills visa. Without this, you cannot get it. And also your skill has to be listed on the critical skills list. They usually list this list is released every year. You can find it on the DHA website. I'll try and attach a link here if I can find it. So you need to go through that list and see if your skill is listed on that. Otherwise you will not be able to get it. Another important type of visa I want to talk about is the spousal visa. So if your spouse has gotten a critical skills visa and you want to accompany them to South Africa, you will get what is called an accompanying spouse visa. Now, something very important that people don't know about this visa is it does not give you the right to work or study in South Africa. For you to be able to work and study in South Africa, you either have to get your own critical skills visa or you need to get a spousal visa 11.6. How do you get this one? So these can only be given to spouses of permanent residents or citizens of South Africa. So you cannot get it if your husband is here on if your husband or your wife is here on a critical skills visa. So don't get those confused, because I've seen people come in here with the hope of, no, I'll just go get there, get a job and change my visa status. No, you cannot do that. And also for you to get the 11.6 spousal visa, you need to have an offer letter from a company with presence in South Africa. So you cannot apply for it if you do not have an offer letter from a company in South Africa. I know it can get confusing, but I will attach a link to the VFS website. It describes both visas, and you can be able to just go through the documentations needed for both visa types. The second thing that we need to talk about is housing. I live in Cape Town, and the housing market has gone crazy over the last couple of years. Housing is not cheap, and getting a house is not easy. How do you get a house in South Africa? The most common way is through the property website, Property24. I will still put a link on the description box for you to have a look at. And for you to even view a house, there are documents that an agent wants to see. Most agents usually ask for a 3 months bank statement, contract, you need to have the right visa type, and a couple of other documents. I'll just see if I can post a screenshot for you to be able to see what agents look for. So it can be quite hard if you just settled here, you do not have a South African bank statement, you do not have proof of address from your former residence in South Africa, but some agents are a bit lenient and they understand foreigners who just moved here. So it's not hard to navigate that. The third thing you need to think about is neighborhood. You know, South Africa has issues of security, so you need to do your background check and ensure that you end up living in a secure in a secure neighborhood, because you don't want to be dealing with issues of insecurity. Okay. Cape Town is okay depending on the neighborhood, yeah, but insecurity is less of a problem here compared to Johannesburg. The other thing you need to know is if you're a parent, so you're moving here with your kids who need to go to school, there's the public schooling system and there's the private schooling system. The public schooling system is a bit hard to get into, also depending on your neighborhood, because your kids can only get into a school that's within your radius. I don't know the kilometers, but I know they need to be within the radius of that. So you need to live within the radius of that school. Private schooling is also not cheap, but it's not as bad as compared to other countries. For younger kids, so if you have kids below 6 years and you need to put them in a daycare or a creche, it's also not cheap, but it's manageable. For instance, in our area, daycares go from as low as 3,500 rands. I don't know how much that is in dollars, but I will try and put the differences here for you to be able to calculate and see. So daycares are not hard to find. Getting placement is not that hard, but getting into a public school is not easy. And I am speaking from my experience. I don't know other people's experiences. The other thing I can talk about is the social life in South Africa. I only speak of Cape Town because that's where I live, but the social life is not bad, especially if you're someone who's very outdoorsy, so you want to go out. There are lots of places to go, especially with kids. There are lots of places with lots of activities for kids to do. You can go to a wine farm. Most restaurants have play areas, so they're very family friendly. There are lots of parks. The social life in Cape Town is quite good. If you're an outdoorsy person like me, trust me, you will not get bored. The other thing we can talk about is transport. Their transport system is quite good, to be honest. South Africa's public transport, they use what they call My City buses. You only need a bus card, you load it up with money, and then you can swipe it at the bus station for you to be able to access the bus. Now, something else that most people don't know about is, for you to be able to purchase a car in South Africa, you need a document called a traffic register number. This is only applicable to foreigners. And I will tell you, getting this document nowadays has become quite difficult. For instance, I applied for mine in October last year. We are in September and I have not gotten it. And without this document, you cannot purchase a car, because without this document, the car documents cannot be transferred to your name. Another thing is, without this traffic register number, you also cannot get a driver's license, because for you to get a driver's license, they need you to produce the traffic register number. For you to be able to sit for your learner's certificate, they need you to produce this number. Unless you're a permanent resident with what they call a foreigner's ID, I think that's what they call it, then you can use this as a substitute to buy a car or to sit for your driver's license exam. So my advice to you will be to get this document as soon as you step foot in South Africa. As soon as you get here, it's one of the first things you need to get sorted. The other thing, of course, is opening a bank account. You need proof of address and a couple of other documents that are not hard to come across. So once you settle down here, you can open a bank account. You can also purchase a SIM card, but for you to get a SIM card, you also need proof of address. So everything in South Africa is tied to your address. So having an address is very important. So as soon as you get that sorted, everything else will just be easy. Another thing that I see people getting scared about is how xenophobic it is, especially for us Black people who move here. I would not say that I have encountered any xenophobia personally per se, but I have seen, things happening online, only that I have not been affected, so I cannot speak to that. Otherwise, Cape Town is beautiful, South Africa is beautiful, and if you're looking to move here, welcome and all the best. Bye-bye.